Welcome to Authors First on the Artist First World Radio Network, artistfirst.com. Tony K in the studio. Thanks a lot for joining us, everyone worldwide. All broadcasts available free on demand. Be sure to share all of our content with everyone you know on your social media websites. Tonight's author, it's my privilege to introduce J.R. Fortin, author of The Mighty Snorter. For your convenience, we have the website placed at artistfirst.com, mightysnorter.com. That's right, we're talking about an action hero of epic snorting capabilities. And you're a young person between the ages of 10 and 30, or maybe you never did grow up. We've got a book for you. It's a great series, creatively thought of, from our genius writer J.R. Fortin, who's had this in his psyche since fourth grade, inspired by his grandmother, a wonderful woman, and I'm sure other family members who've suffered through the pain and agony of creating a great superhero series. Let's give a warm Artist First welcome to our guest. It's our very own J.R. Fortin.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm psyched to be on the show.
Wow, that's powerful. Tell us about your life, little guy. How's it been going over there? You've got a wife, you've got several kids, and somehow you're finding time to resurrect a lifelong dream of writing.
Well, I've actually wrote a lot of this stuff when I was younger, growing up in high school, some of it actually in elementary school, and then I've rewrote it like time and time again, fixing it, bringing it up to date and for a higher age group. I worked 10-hour shifts at my regular job, and then when I got home, luckily I got a supportive wife who wants to see me accomplish my dreams. So she deals with the kids, giving me enough time to work on my book, do my full-time job, and still get a lot of time with my kiddos.
Man, you have to be the luckiest guy on planet Earth.
Oh, yeah, I feel like it big time.
You've got the right package going on, and wow, an audience built in. Oh,
yeah. Yep, I actually got, I was psyched. I just published my first one in late 2012, the 10-book series, and I actually got up to only 17 likes shy of 1,500, which for a fan base coming from someone who's self-published is pretty good if you look around.
Oh, yeah, and I know you're getting, what, $39.95 each? Hey, it's expensive to create a book. Congratulations on the investment of your time, the sacrifice that your lovely wife and children and yourself are making. And, you know, it's one of your children forever now. 3 books into the series of 10 audience, The Mighty Snorter. You're going to love it. Fabulous website. If you haven't checked it out yet, follow the link at artistfirst.com. You'll see mightysnorter.com. That's right. Sounds just like it is, okay? SNORTER.com. I couldn't believe it when I saw it myself.
Yeah, the first book is pretty awesome because it comes down to your basic good versus evil. 2 brothers are walking outside of a power plant when a power plant blows up, and they both get the ability to snoop or sneeze, and one of them chooses to use his powers for evil, and the other one chooses to use it for good. So his arch enemy is his own brother, John, and Jake becomes the Mighty Snorter to try to stop his brother.
Well, you know, I witnessed this firsthand just last week when my 12-year-old grandson sneezed a great big snorter right on the 8-year-old grandson. While they were doing the dishes, nonetheless. Yuck. Let's just say those had to get redone, too.
Yeah, that seems to happen a lot with children.
Well, we
especially
call them
once they're in school.
snot-faced little kids for no reason, you know. Yeah, there's always something running from the end of their nose. And I'll bet you had to do something special with this series at the paper. I mean, you know, all the dripping and snorting and, you know, what do you got there? Coated in some kind of lamination or what did, yeah, at least the cover.
Yep. The cover, it's actually, it's the second one's pretty cool because he's got this mentor, because the first one focuses on like just getting to know the powers and the characters, and then the second one he gets this new mentor, Greg the Grasshopper, and all of his methods are ridiculous. Like he'll cover you with lighter fluid and light a match and expect you to know how to just put out the fire, but he's not telling you what's in his canteen. It's all of his methods for training the Mighty Snorter are completely like suicidal. Kind of like I would say it's kind of like for the people who would view like Family Guy or shows along those lines. Like some of it's dry humor and some of it's like gross humor.
Well, yeah, if you're looking at a demographic of ages maybe 10 through 30, well, there you go. I mean, a lot happens. But hey, look, superheroes, what fun. Fabulous storyline, great art. It's a must-buy for anyone who has a grandkid because that's payback to mom and dad. So, Grandma, Grandpa, get in motion. You got to get this series cooking. MightySnorter.com. Let everybody on Facebook know how gross it is. And the books will be flying off the shelf, and everyone will be, well, whatever. Yeah, J.R. Fortin, Fortin. Write it down. Follow the link. You'll know what to do. And this has been an adventure, a life dream come true for you. And tell us about one of your inspirations, your grandmother.
Yeah, my grandmother had a real bad case of cancer. Like, she was in and out for as long as I can remember, going out, always at the hospital. But the time last before she had passed, she had made me promise her to follow through with my stuff, because I'd been talking about becoming a writer since I'd been in the 4th grade, all about this series. It's actually funny. My friend busted out the video camera when he came back from Virginia because he's in the Navy, and there's actually a footage of me when I'm like 14 talking about how eventually I'm going to publish my Mighty Snorter books, and now I have.
Well, you could have had the brother on the flip side, you know, but just show the back with kind of like slime running down.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So that way you'd have the good guy face in the front and the bad guy in the back, and you'd have the slime coming off of him, right? But yeah, the color, the green, the reddish pink kind of the mix of yellow. This is the whole gooey mess you've made there. And I understand that you have the website under renovation.
Yep, that is correct, because the after the 3rd book came out, they have to upload a ton of photos to the gallery, which is going to take a while. And then book 4 illustrations are going to be uploaded to that soon as well, because that's coming out in a couple months.
Will it be a little grosser?
It's actually got, there's a villain called Earwax Ernie, whose problem is his earwax never stops flowing. So he's got tanks and guns. It goes through his tank, into a hose, and through his gun, and he shoots that at people.
Oh, I love it.
And his pet chicken makes all of his criminal decisions for him.
Yeah. You created some believable characters there in that imagination of yours.
Then another character out of book 4 is the salad maker, and his origin is that in college his pet cow dies, so he kills every he wants to kill every carnivore in the world.
Oh, great! he must live in California.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a true vegan with a vengeance. A vegan with a vengeance. Okay, I got that. Well, what contemporary concepts that your children will relate to and yet fun, funny, and, well, not vulgar in the sense that you wouldn't want them to read it, okay? It's not full of vulgarity, and it has a story, a plot line that's interesting, much like a comic book.
Yeah, that's one of the big things. The original intent for it was to become a comic book, but with the time it would take, I'm publishing the 10 books first, and with the photos, so I have everything copyrighted prior to, and then the aim is going to be to have a 100 comic book series, 1 through 100. Each chapter in a book would be considered an issue. Because that was always the original intent. But trying to get all those illustrations done, I could do a lot more once I have everything already copyrighted. Then I don't have to worry about any of those type of issues biting me in the future.
Well, then it could become bi-weekly. You'll be able to expand the content into twice as many volumes.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's what you find in a comic book. Those series, what are they, 52 issues in a year or 12 issues in a year? How do they do the comics today?
I think nowadays I think it's like 52. In the past they used to come out like bi-monthly, but now I think you're right. I think they come out pretty much monthly.
Well, then that's another level for your series. And writing good script will be an asset to any illustrator. That'll be your next challenge. And you'll have a totally different yet related product. And then there's always the merchandising, right, JR?
Oh, absolutely. That's something that I'm working on. Like, it's pretty cool. I was booked last year for the Wildcat Comic-Con in Pennsylvania. And the Rhode Island Comic-Con, which is pretty sweet. They had a whole bunch of celebrities there you got to meet and talk to some comic people that have been doing it for years. Like, one of the guys I was fortunate to meet was Mark McKenna. Another one was Dave Elliott, really well-known comic illustrators. So it was kind of an honor, someone at my level to meet someone at theirs.
Yeah, that's reminiscent of the scene in Forrest Gump, where the gentleman had all of those yellow shirts and no idea what to do with them.
Oh, absolutely.
And what did Forrest do? Wipe the mud off of his body and hand it back, and it's a face, and he says, "Have a nice day." And the rest becomes history, right? Merchandising with your material, so important as an entrepreneur and certainly an author today with your fan base.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And one of the big things, like one of the big ways to cut costs that I don't think a lot of self-published people look into is once you figure out LinkedIn and all those social networks, there's freelancers for everything. So you can really cut expenses on editing and similar stuff that the first time almost everybody takes a big hit because nobody knows about it until they've paid out the money, and then they're like, there's got to be a way to get this done cheaper. Well, you look into it, there is.
Well, you've grown up with the technology that 20 years ago, well, were you born? No, anyway. Yeah, I mean, and young people today just have mastered this, and lots of opportunity on the web to self-publish and do all the artwork or find others to assist you. Certainly, authors today have advantages never dreamed of before the Internet.
Oh, that's so true.
Well, welcome to the Artist First Radio Network. Tony K in the studio. If you have questions or comments during the show, please send them to J.R. Fortin. You can follow the link provided, MightySnorter.com, to get all of the details and become a fan right away, because this 10-book series will be something to have when you're finished, just because you have to have it. In your library, the whole thing. I can't wait when it's bundled and able to be marketed that way as well. And the merchandise that'll come along, the hats, the T-shirts, the rubber band bracelets, all of the quirky things we want to identify with our favorite series. You're going to be in this field for a while, right, JR? What's the timeline, you think, in completing all 10 books? You're releasing the third in the series this 2014. What do you think?
I'm thinking that I'm aiming to have 4 and 5 out by the end of this year, and I'm hoping to have them all out within the next 2 years. And then I can look into more stuff like pitches for TV shows or for movies, like getting in touch with the people to make something like that happen. But I figure if I wait that amount of time, I can build more connections to have something more solid, because I wouldn't want to send something that's not ready.
Well, that's right. I believe the big success for Gone with the Wind, not the movie, the book, Gone with the Wind.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was definitely the book.
For what? I don't know, 80 years, 100 years? I don't recall. But the point is, it was the book that led to the movie.
Yeah,
and if you have a book and you can penetrate the population with enough copies of it, and it's all out there, and you have a fan base, then certainly bigger things can happen. There's no question. And we've seen that over and over again in literature, where stories, fantasy that were popular as books ultimately end up on the screen.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a great ambition. And if you write that way, you don't know, you might be creating the best work you'll ever create. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean.
Yep.
When you're young, you can do things that become more problematic or different when you're older.
Right. Yeah, that's why, I'm kind of excited to see the fourth one released, because after that, once the fifth one hits, it's more plot twist and then everything connects. Because right now, it's kind of confusing because not much has been connected, linked together, but it's kind of like a puzzle that's being put together up to the final book, book 10. But there's going to be a whole bunch of cool twists coming up in the near future.
Have you outlined? Do you think you know where you're going to be, or is some of the writing process a matter of creating and spontaneously, and then, wow, suddenly characters have taken on meanings that perhaps you weren't envisioning initially?
Well, sometimes, when I'm trying to think of villains, I'll try to think of, a general idea. One thing that I thought of a while back was I needed a villain for book 3, and I thought, well, kitchen supplies. What could I use that would look awesome out of a kitchen supply? And it's funny because at the Wildcat Comic-Con in Pennsylvania and the one in Rhode Island, everybody stopped to see this photo that was done by my awesome illustrator, Nathan Ray. I made the tenderizer. So you got this big, giant chef guy with no hands and 2 giant tenderizer hands. So it's pretty sweet to see, the response. The second people see that photo, it's like a stop sign. They stop, they look at it, and just that itself becomes worth it because people are noticing your accomplishments.
I know, and I've made a faux pas of epic proportions for this series by my failure to mention our good friend, the great genius, in many ways, partner in this crime, Nathan Ray.
Yeah, he is the proud father of 2 kids, Mike and Emily. And one of the ironic things is, and everybody loves this, when we're sitting down talking to people, how he started and stuff, we'll get on the kick. He does all of his drawings in a big rig, in an 18-wheeler. He's a tractor-trailer truck driver.
Well, he'll love listening to this interview while driving. All of our broadcasts available and formatted for just that purpose. Those of you listening on your mobile devices right now, thanks for joining Authors First with Tony Kaye and our great guest this hour, J.R. Fortin, and we're having a wonderful conversation about Mighty Snorter, mightysnorter.com, the website, and be sure tell everyone what a ridiculous show you heard today on Facebook, and they all need to get their copy and become great fans of this 10-book series right away on Facebook. I want to see it out there, and don't mention my name, okay? But you can mention Nathan Ray. He won't mind. And J.R. Fortin. You can blame them, okay? There you go, audience. There's my shout-out. But, yeah, I mean, they're equipping everything today with Wi-Fi. And, of course, the capability of listening to Artist First in your automobile, on your cell phone, out on your boat, in the airplane, out in outer space somewhere. And I know that all alien beings everywhere have heard Artist First Radio. Welcome aboard. Thank you for your participation. And now back to our guest and his series, Mighty Snorter. Can you believe that?
So, one of the things that I think, though, like when it comes to comic book or writing in general, once you meet people, is if you surround yourself by those who are already successful, you can be known as the guy who learned from the best, because you get to meet a lot of really, really cool people who've been there, people who can answer your questions, like, that have been doing it for 30 years, and to them it's a 5-second question and you're baffled. So it's pretty cool to meet these people.
Hey, yeah, the website, I'm sorry, I went to it. It's so gross. Gallery, I like the gallery.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on? Are you going to make those a little bigger for me? Because you don't need to. But yeah, is that part of Nathan's work?
Yep. The whole gallery is, he's done all the illustrations. Those are going to be enlarged because it's going to be changed to a drop-down menu instead of just strolling down. You're going to be able to click on the villain, and then it'll just bring you straight to a bigger picture of them.
Will you redo our website when you're finished? It's a big job.
You don't want me trying to redo a website. I pay someone to do that.
It's a big job, isn't it? Yeah. Well, you've got a lot going on, and what's it like in Lewiston, Maine, anyway? I forgot to ask that question. My wife wants to go up there and have lobster someday.
It's nice. I came from I'm in the city because Lewiston's a city, but I came from the country. I lived in Poland, Maine, growing up, and I like that a lot more than Lewiston, just because it's more quiet and you can definitely get some good lobster not far away.
Associate degree in legal studies. Are you hoping to return to academics again, or?
I'd like to get my bachelor's soon, but that's in the mix because trying to figure it out schedule-wise between having my books and working 10-hour shifts. I do 4 days on and 3 days off, so I'd definitely love to have time to increase my academics more. Eventually, that is definitely on the list of things to do.
Well, every author wants that to be their vocation, and anything else an avocation. But unfortunately, we have to start someplace, and you're doing it the right way. You own your material. You have a great team of people around you who believe in the project to make it happen, and your wife and family are supportive, and you're getting the job done. I think it's very commendable the way all of you are working together on this project, and it is a lifelong dream. It is something that when you're finished with the 10, for good or bad, you will have some sense of accomplishment. At least you'll know how difficult it is to go through the rigor. But in some cases, it may be actually getting easier.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. The nerves of the first Comic-Con was awful before I was there, and then once I got to the second one, it was better, and I imagine the third one, I'm booked next month here, not even 30 days, for the Long Island Comic-Con in New York, and that should be a blast.
Well, where will Tony K end up in the book? 5 or 8? You know, I mean, I have a mic. Maybe we could, snort it up some. The snot dripping all over the place. I don't know. Or maybe there could be a big one coming off of my nose right now. How would you? I mean, that's the beauty of radio. Anything is possible, and the imagination can run.
That's how they did it right the first time too. Before TV, I've heard so many stories about people just sitting by the radio listening to like horror shows.
You must have some superhero experience and interest. Spider-Man or Superman or the Green Man, whatever he was. Batman. And did you like the Batman television, the series, the movies they made?
I liked the new movies, and I definitely liked the... I thought that out of all the animated series, that was definitely the best written, hand down, because all the storylines were good, and they weren't... Like, an adult could sit down and watch it with their kid and be like, oh, this is good, it's okay. Whereas
yeah, go ahead.
Whereas now, like, some of the plots seem like too dull in some of these new superhero shows, almost like they're just kind of pushing them out.
Well, you can't use Batman. That one's taken. Well, what about Mighty Snorter? Do you have a theme for him?
Well, the saying is the superhero of the decade, sneeze on evil, but I'll have to come up with a musical theme.
Obviously, it'll have to be, some rap combination. Maybe Justin Bieber, is that his name, will help you out?
Not likely.
But sure, you'll have to, or who would be, or Vanilla Ice? No, he's too old. Who would it be?
Well, I have actually made two, I did them myself, two book trailers, and the guy who's letting me use his music is the lead singer of the band Uncle Jack. So I'd have to say, out of loyalty, I'd have to use him.
Well, there you go. And what style?
Metal. It's metal, but you can still understand what they're saying. Metal.
Oh, man, did I do it right? The theme opening is Attitude. Did you catch it? It was pretty rough. I thought you'd like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's Attitude. That's Scott Z-Man, the founder of Artist First Radio, one of his tracks.
Nice.
So have a good time with the show, sharing the show. Thanks a lot for allowing Tony K to give J.R. Fortin a tough time tonight, going into all of the details about Mighty Snorter, little fun and tongue-in-cheek or tongue-in-nose if you like cows. But, yeah, it's evolving. It's a work in process. Do you think that at the end you'll be able to finish it after 10?
Yep, after 10, 10 will be the final issue. I don't want to kill it because I feel that's a mistake that a lot of people make. They just keep going with superhero stories when they should close them.
Meaning he zoomed off to another planet, or a cure was made that wiped him out, and then he'll become a single cell and later have to be resurrected.
Oh, I can't give away the ending to book 10.
No, I'm not. I'm just, making it up as I go along. I haven't read it. I haven't read book 10. You haven't written book 10 yet. Come on. I'm just saying, anything can happen, right? And that is the beauty of a series when you start reading, and now book 1, and then now book 2, and now book 3, and now book 4. Hey, when's book 5 coming out? Oh, he just said it's coming out pretty soon. 5 and 6. Oh, good. Then that's what happens, and then pretty soon. Oh, and 10. Don't read book 10. What do you do? You can't buy book 10 until you've proved that you bought book 9. Come on, there's got to be a way. No, you'll have to buy them all. It is a series. Well, I already have books 1 through 9. Too bad. You're buying all 10. Nobody gets the ending. Oh, wow. That's tough with a series, huh?
Yeah, I'll quit at 9. Just to make people wonder what would have happened.
Yeah, book 10 coming soon. Just leave it there. Well, okay. We're having fun with it. And I know you will too, audience. And so are the young people in your life. You have to have this series. You'll want it. You'll want to keep it. You won't want to lose it. And then you'll want to get extras or ebook. Where do we see there? Any ebook?
Yep. The first and second one are available on the Nook, through Barnes & Noble, and on the Kindle, on Amazon. The third book is going to be available on ebook shortly.
Wow.
But it will be available on the Kindle and the Nook as well, probably within the next month.
And you're bold enough to call it a hilarious, fun, and adventure. So congratulations. Evidently, one other person agrees it's actually funny. I think it's funny. I started, as soon as I looked at the website and realized what was going on, I lots of things that shouldn't have come into my head did. And I know that'll be your case too, audience. Lots of things will come into your head that you wish wouldn't, but it did. It will. The process of your imagination, your humor, this interest in heroes, and the topic of defeating your brother. How is that all part somehow of your psyche, and is your wife worried?
My wife's definitely worried. But I think I grew up with 2 older brothers, so I think it's safe to say that we were always trying to beat each other at something, whether it be chess, basketball, hockey, always competitive. So I grew up around, me and my brothers would compete in sports 24/7, always. So you were always trying to overcome your brother or your cousin or your second cousin, because I have one of those big French families. My Pepe recently passed January 12th, but we still would go up to Meme's, and all of our cousins would be there. It's pretty cool because, like I said, I have a supportive family, and I have a lot of cousins, so we can definitely fill a room.
And really, isn't that what it's all about? How can we keep each other entertained? You know, if you have a young person and they're reading Mighty Snorter, there's going to be some conversation. Now, do you have a disclaimer in the book? Do not do any of these or attempt any of these at home.
No, because there's nothing really that you would have to worry about them doing. It's more just like dry humor, I would say. Aside from stuff that would literally be physically impossible to do, I would say that it's mostly dry humor, so it's not stuff you'd actually have to worry for someone to attempt doing.
Oh, good. You haven't taught them how to use a water squirter in any new way. All right.
No.
Okay, good. A squirt gun. That's what I wanted to say. Squirt gun. Nothing like that. Okay. Well, that is so. It's appropriate. Parents, don't be alarmed. It's a safe read. No harm done. They may laugh and have some fun.
Yeah, that's the goal. The goal is to just make people laugh. I feel like, especially like now, so many times things seem like so cynical, but a good laugh always helps someone, and if I can make just one person laugh, it makes it worth it.
And, of course, you're writing what you enjoy. It's fulfilling and meaningful to you, and your goal and hope is that others will find it as enjoyable and humorous and creative and as meaningful as it has been to you. Sticking to your dream fulfilling something for good or bad always is good.
Yeah.
And young people out there need to be inspired. Maybe they'll say, hey, I could do a superhero series better than this. And it'll be the Super Yawner. Who?
One of the other cool things about that is that like on Amazon right now, cross my fingers, I still have a 5-star review on all 3 books, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. When I go back and I read like what people posted on that's definitely worth doing to any writer. I suggest reading your Amazon reviews because you won't believe some of the stuff people put. That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, if it's any good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wish they wouldn't say anything at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that is true.
Look what's happened to the internet world. In the old days, it was dial-up.
That's so true. Now you can do everything on your phone.
And wow, slow as molasses. And could we blow up media players?
Yeah. I remember
we would push out CD quality material, and everybody trying to listen, their computer would just crash. Couldn't handle the digital data we were capable of sending.
I remember unplugging the phone and plugging the phone into the back of the computer, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah. And, the hard drive blowing up and not having enough memory and, oh, my, just the old days, But here we are. And 2014, you've got all the technology working in your behalf. Audience, hey, are you on Facebook? Check it out. Become a friend. Let people know about the mighty, well, there's no it's Mighty Snorter. And our author, follow the link, share it, we're proud to post it. You'll have fun, and we know others will too. Thank you for being our guest this hour, JR. Before I let you go, anyone on planet Earth you'd like to say hello to, or any closing remarks?
Yep. Thanks for having me on your show, and I'd like to say a special shout-out to my cousin Nick, who's currently in Afghanistan.
Way cool. Yes, all of our military personnel out there, thank you for serving our country and putting your life on the line for all of us. We value and appreciate your contributions so much. Thank you, and God bless. You've been listening to another edition of Authors First.